It's not very good.
I would definitely put it in the top 10.
So good.
It's kind of a mess.
A great work of cinema.
Train wreck.
Beyond a slasher, beyond a jump scare.
More thought has gone into the story.
Respecting the source material.
Extremely gory, extremely violent.
The lighting, the sets, the costuming.
Extremely scary.
Well staged, well shot, well acted.
I saw the comedy for what it is.
Relentless.
It was just really, really good.
This is pretty cool.
Another reason why I think it's
So good.
We do have a system, and it works.
Hello and welcome out there in podcast and YouTube land. You have reached Johnny Has the Keys, hence the lovely green logos behind us. We are a podcast and YouTube channel where two guys sit around. We talk about horror movies, science fiction movies, key influences on the topic of the episode, and then things that topic may have influenced going forward. We compare and contrast and do all kinds of stuff that we just make up on the spot because we are totally unscripted and we just talk to each other. And if you like that format, good. Let us know down below. We would love to hear your comments on it. We've been doing it for quite a few years. If you're new to us, thanks. We're glad you're here. We'd love to know how you found out about us. Like I said, leave us a comment down below, ring the bell, save, do all that fun stuff. And if you're returning, great. Glad to have you back. This week's an odd, scary one, but we'll talk about it. I'm here with my good friend Tim. Tim, you're all smiles. How are you doing today?
was that like a tie-in lead?
It's a loop over.
I was just going to say, remember when people talked? Because that's what you said. We talk.
Yeah, we talk to
We
each
don't
other.
look
It's
at
not
phones,
scripted.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh my
Right.
goodness. Well, we usually break the ice. This is our next to last show before the season's over. So it's a
Our
double feature.
penultimate.
It is,
Yeah.
and then we've got a big bang next week. But
Oh, yeah.
today, for an icebreaker, I wanted to talk about a little film I caught recently called The Black Phone 2.
Oh, the sequel. Yeah.
It is, and I don't know if you remember or not, but I really like the first Black Phone film, and I think you did too.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I thought
had-
it was really well done.
Yeah, and I had really high hopes for this one because it's all the same people, same director, writer. Joe Hill was back. The entire cast was back. However, and it impressed me up until about halfway. And then my appreciation started waning.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's directed by Scott Derrickson, same guy. Written by him and Joe Hill and Robert Cargill, Robert Cargill, who's actually a commentator on that documentary I was just telling you about before we started. Same crew as the first one. The cast is great. Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and even Jeremy Davies, the father, is back. They're older, of course, but it's not the cast that's the problem with the film. They try to turn it into a Nightmare on Elm Street, and you know how all of a sudden you could be asleep and Freddy Krueger is a problem. It's that way with this. You're asleep and all of a sudden the grabber is back and he's got supernatural abilities because he's in your dream. And the problem with it is the delineation between reality and fantasy gets really murky and you're like, oh, wait a minute. No. It's a little bit like the second feature we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's very similar. Another reason why I chose this for a genre week topic. A synopsis is we follow Finney and Gwen Blake 4 years after the first film, Gwen's psychic visions leading them to a snowy Colorado camp where the grabber returns from beyond the grave. I didn't know they had winter camps, but apparently they do, like summer camps.
I guess.
And they're there
Yeah,
to
sure.
train to be like camp counselors or whatever, very Friday the 13th, except with snow. He targets the victims through a new black phone, which is like this phone booth that's like way out of place because no one uses phone booths anymore. But this camp looks really old, so I give them that. They have a new friend named Ernesto, and they all end up confronting this resurfaced evil in connection to their family's past. They're trying to bring in a past story with the dead mother as to why there's a connection with the grabber. So, like I said, it's a little convoluted. I was a little disappointed in it because I just had high hopes. It got 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that makes perfect sense to me. But the reason it sucks is it's one of those could have been movies. You just get mad because it's like they screw it up. They were going in a direction I like because I love Nightmare on Elm Street. They just didn't stick to the rules, and it bothers me. That's what I did in my genre week.
Interesting. Sad because the original was so good and a really neat new twist on a serial killer story. So
if you remember, we were
not
questioning how the hell they were going to do a sequel because
Yeah.
the first one is so good and the killer dies in it. So it's leave
Correct.
it alone.
Yep, you're done. Don't do
You're
it.
done.
Get out. Okay, because I've been so distracted with theater and work and everything else, haven't had a lot of time to watch stuff other than what we are talking about. But I did finally catch up on season 4 of Love, Death, and Robots, which is my series that I really like. It's one of the, to me, another one of those shining examples of Netflix when it's good. It's an anthology series. Lots of different directors, lots of different voice actors, all animated, but animated in different styles. I think I've mentioned it. Each time a new season comes out, I usually use it as a genre topic. But it was originally created in 19, and this is the 4th season that they've done so far. It was created by Tim Miller. He's the same director that did Deadpool. And
they're shorts, aren't they?
They're all short. Some of them are, I think the longest I've ever seen is like 23 minutes. Some of them are like 6 minutes long. And I've described it before as it's like reading a great collection of short stories from like the 1950s, 1960s, but animated, or a lot like Heavy Metal, the movie was. So lots of different animation styles. Some of them are almost photorealistic now. There's one episode in this one called Golgotha, and it looks like a film. It looks, I don't know if it was AI augmented or what they did to it, but it looks amazing. But really good stories, some of them funny, some of them tongue-in-cheek, all of them really science fiction heavy on storylines. But David Fincher is one of the producers. He's the chief producer of it. And
That's
it's a
two
really
good people.
Yeah,
David
and
Miller,
it's a
David
really
Fincher.
This season is really great. It's another really good season. Lots of standout episodes. They only do 6 to 8 a season, so that's not very many. And you can watch them whenever. You can just pop one in. It's only 10 minutes long. Boom, you're good. And you don't, because there's not a story arc to it. Nothing connects to anything else. It's just, again, like reading a short story. And they're all really strong and good. There was one in this one that, just to tell you, so it's done in very almost like Pixar animation with a lot of shiny reflective surface stuff. Think early Toy Story feel to it. And this really abusive family gets awarded a robot, a little house cleaning robot that's like only 2 feet tall. And of course they abuse it and kick it around. It's awful. They also have a cat. And in the 3rd scene, the robot starts talking to the cat, and suddenly the cat talks back. And you realize the cat is uber intelligent. And so the cat ends up hacking into the little cleaning robot, and he's decided to take over the world with it. And it's a really great little story. It's really cool. They usually have little 50s twists at the end. I guess if we were going to Johnny Has the Keys, it would be a lot like, what's the other Netflix show that I watch with the episodes are all anthology? Black Mirror.
What is it?
Yeah. Black Mirror.
Oh,
It's a lot. Yeah. But
well,
really
you were
enjoyable.
telling me about another one that's like Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth that you're watching too, that's shorts or something, animated.
Yeah, animated. No, but that one is a through line story. That's an animated story.
Okay.
That's the circus one. The incredible, amazing
digital
circus
or something.
Amazing digital circus. Yeah. It's really good too. This new episode hasn't dropped yet. It's only 6 episodes long right now. It's supposed to be 10 altogether. But yeah, I highly recommend if you like science fiction and horror, because it does have some really scary episodes. Love, Death, and Robots. Really cool, really neat. Watch it at your leisure.
Cool.
So
That leads
segue out
us.
of that big guy. Yeah.
I had a segue. The delineation in this film between reality and fantasy gets
Yeah.
quite murky. Not so much in the first one as it does in the second one. And we are covering 2022's Smile. And was the next one the following year? I think it was. No, it was
24.
2024. So it was 2 years later. And they're currently filming the third. And everyone is returning as far as behind the scenes.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got, I'm going to do quick canned synopsis. Is that a word?
Yeah. Very well said.
Since this is a double feature. In this one, we have Dr. Rose Cotter, a therapist who becomes haunted by a malevolent entity after witnessing a patient's bizarre suicide. The entity forces victims to relive trauma until they commit suicide themselves, passing the curse on within days. As Rose investigates, she realizes the entity feeds on her past trauma. Isolated and disbelieved by her loved ones, Rose desperately attempts to break the cycle by confronting her childhood memories in her abandoned family home. Ultimately, the entity overcomes her, causing her to commit suicide in front of her ex-boyfriend and cop, Joel, who she's enlisted to help her, and she passes the curse on to him. Damn it. And dies. So the lead dies in this. You were the first person to recommend this movie to me. I didn't even know anything about it. And I have to say, I really like it. I think the first movie is really good.
Yes, I had seen the trailer somewhere and just in probably searching for things, what's coming to get you topics or something, and had found it and thought that it was really creepy. Of course, a smile in general is creepy to me. It's like British children. They're both
Or
too scary.
clowns.
Clowns, yes. Spiders the size of a car.
Shower curtains.
Shower curtains. Yeah, so I have several. But I remember the trailer being really good, and I remember you watching it and saying you enjoyed it. And so you put it on the season, and I had an opportunity about a year ago to watch it and didn't, and waited until now, and since it's a double feature, I'll say I was pleasantly surprised and felt really cool, and then very disappointed. So that's the
Let's see, a little bit of production. It was directed by Parker Finn. He was born in Bath, Ohio, attended the University of Colorado Boulder, then attended Chapman's University or have you ever heard of Chapman's University Dodge College of Film and Media Arts?
not at all. No.
Okay. He got an MFA in screenwriting. And I think it shows in this film. I think this film's really well written. He really has not done anything except short films. And his first feature short, this was his first feature, but it's based on one of his shorts called Laura Hasn't Slept. And then apparently they titled this film Something's Wrong with Rose, and then eventually retitled it to Smile. So it's had 3 titles in its evolution from short film to big film. He got a multi-year first look deal with Paramount based on that short alone. He got signed. So
Interesting.
yeah, we're always questioning where did these horror directors come from? So that's why I was looking into it to see.
And I will say it's like an overview. I think since we are doing both films, Smile and Smile 2, such an original second title. But anyway,
I don't think the title was his idea. I think that was a studio thing.
probably. I think the first one is a very well told story, a good screenplay, a strong screenplay, and a pretty well directed film overall. I think the second one is like you gave a kid all the toys he could have, and it is filmed and directed much stronger than the first one, but the story isn't as strong, and the performances
it's confusing.
are not as good. Yeah.
Scenes in the first one?
Scenes in number one.
Oh, before we go there, I did have a little more on background. This movie was a surprise hit. It was originally just going to go streaming on Paramount Plus. We know this because we were talking about it back in the day when it happened,
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago. They did a screen test with audience that scored higher than anticipated, which prompted Paramount to release it in theaters, and it grossed $22 million in its opening weekend. And it ended up grossing $217 million worldwide. That's a lot of money for a film that was just going to drop on a streaming network.
Yeah.
And it brought a lot of good horror movies our way with the tide, I think. Anyway, scenes.
I think it's hard to pick scenes for either of these because his scenes are so long and have so much to them, like a change in location and movement and all this kind of stuff. But I will say I really liked the first scene with when she's infected, I guess is the best way to put it. The patient comes in and the patient is struggling and then ends up cutting her own face off, which was
It's real jarring
cool.
when she jerks back, like she sees something behind
Yes.
Rose.
Which
Yeah.
is a plant for the end, which while we're there, that would be probably my second favorite scene is the scene in the, I went back to my abandoned family home. Were you a farmer? Were you the only house within 40 miles of, this is a shack
It's
in
an
the
Evil
middle of the
Dead house.
woods. Yeah, this is not, I went back to my old neighborhood. There is no neighbor around you. Anyway.
They do tease about it with the brother-in-law wanting to sell it and tear it because they're going to tear it down. The property's worth a fortune. Just sell it, and she doesn't want to sell
Yeah.
it for some reason.
Yeah, but the whole, and to me, a big, jumping ahead though, but a big key out of that is like Slender Man. The demon itself design was really cool, and the way it was shot and the way it was done, I really liked that. I found that really scary and good.
I have to say, one of my favorite scenes is the birthday party.
Because come on, that is a huge plant. One of my notes is, okay, you know that cat's got to die, right?
Yeah,
It's one of my watch notes.
Oh yeah,
So,
the cat. It's called Mustache. The cat's name is Mustache, and it disappears. And there's one scene where they're looking for it, and that's about it. And then later on, she agrees to go to her nephew's birthday party. And she's on the phone or she's drinking wine and she's wrapping present or whatever. And then several scenes later, she's at the party and she comes in. And by then I had forgotten about it. And I was like, okay.
Oh no.
And
I was
like
going, there's a,
she talks about trains. The sister tells her he loves trains or
she
something.
went to a train store.
And she took a toy store. And so he's opening that thing and that dead cat is in that present. And I was like, holy fuck. That's about as demented and disturbing as you can get. Can you imagine how that would warp a kid?
And what's good about it is her reaction to it. The whole no, 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 no. And then trying to get everybody to believe her. That's one of the things I thought he really messed up in storytelling. This one is taken from her point of view, and we see outside her a lot. We see other people reacting to her being freaking crazy. And we don't see that enough in the second one.
We know she's not crazy.
Yeah, the second one is so POV that we get disoriented on, okay, what's going to be the next jump scare? What's going to be the next, this isn't really real. Because that cat is real. She's not imagining that. She killed the freaking cat and wrapped it in a present. And the demon made her do that. And that's so much more scary to me than anything in the second one.
I think that he wanted to go bigger with the second film, and that's the problem. The reason that the first film was such a success is that it's a small film and a smaller story.
I think I have a lot of it. Once we get there, I have a lot of issues with the second one.
Another issue is also, and it's something that you actually celebrate, is the fact that he tries to not use any CGI and everything's done practically. So a lot of the stunt and sensationalism of the second movie is pulling off the next effect.
Yes.
But we'll get to that. If we don't have any other scenes, I can move on to cast.
I'm trying to remember. I thought the ending was a little cliche and telegraphed, but it was good. Yeah, no, I don't have any more scenes. Yeah.
Most of the scenes I'm thinking of have to do with the cast because I like this cast a lot. Everybody
Yes,
in it.
very strong.
Yeah, it will begin with the star. Sochie Bacon plays Rose Cotter. She's the daughter of Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. I'd never had heard of her before this movie, and she's got 42 acting credits already.
I hadn't either.
Yeah,
So
so she's
I
been
was just
around
somewhere.
probably since she was a kid, but she's great. And you feel so much for her in this movie because she's not crazy and no one else does. They're all convinced she is falling apart because she did have
And
a prior issue.
and another problem with comparing these two films, I really liked her job is helping other people. She's a very innocent protagonist that we want to root for, and we're sorry that this is happening to her. The Sky is a royal pain in the ass bitch, and I don't care about her at all, and don't care anything that is happening to her. And I think that was a big miss that he created the characters that way.
Yeah, yeah. I can see what you're saying. I don't have anything else on Sochi, but I can keep going if you don't.
Yeah.
Kyle Gallner plays Joel. Kyle Gallner has been on my radar for quite a while now. He is, I think, going to be huge. He's the one I told you was in a movie not long ago that I watched. And I told you he reminded me of a clean version of Johnny Depp. You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
he's got like good muscle tone and he doesn't look like strung out Johnny Depp. He looks like a legitimate Johnny Depp back in the day. I didn't realize this, but he got his start on Veronica Mars. So he was a television actor, which shows because he's got good chops.
Yep.
He has since been in both these movies. He's a scream queen because he's been in both these movies. He did a movie called The Passenger, where he plays a hitman that takes a young fast food employee hostage and they go on a ride, a wild road movie. But then he's also in a movie that I have I'm on the borderline of putting it on next season's or sneaking it into next season's lineup.
Oh,
And it's
really?
called Strange Darling. He's the lead in it as well.
Okay.
And it's a great
Okay.
film too. So I can't say enough good things about Kyle Gallner. And he does, like I say, get the curse passed on to him at the end of this movie. So he starts the second movie.
Yeah, he is going to be a breakout. I think. I agree with you. I think he's got
Yeah,
a lot of potential.
I think so too. Other familiar faces, Jesse T. Usher plays
Yeah, A
Trevor.
Train.
He's A-Train from The Boys, another series that we both like. He's also in
Yeah,
Gen V, which I don't think you've watched. And
I've
I
not.
actually saw him in an episode of Tales of the Walking Dead, the anthology series. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
doing pretty well. And then we have Robin Weigert, who played Dr. Madeline Northcott. I'm just trying.
Oh,
Okay.
the psychiatrist.
Yeah, here's a
Yeah,
good picture of her.
she had one good scene too. The
She's
that
got a
scene,
couple. Yeah.
the whole walk down the staircase, chase, just smiling after you've seen. That was good.
It's actually the smile demon that's taunting her.
Well,
But yes,
yeah,
the scene that she's in that's real good before that is when who's A Train? Trevor, her fiance,
yeah,
has the doctor over and they do like a what do you call that?
intervention.
Intervention.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
yeah.
Rose. And Rose gets pissed off. But anyway, she's great. She has a familiar face to me. She reminds me of somebody.
Nurse
Someone,
Ratchet. No, just kidding.
no, like
But
Andy
yeah,
McDowell, that kind
I
of
could see that.
actress.
I
Yeah.
could see that. Yeah.
And then Caitlin Stacy plays Laura, the chick in the beginning that kills herself and passes the
Mm,
demon on to Rose.
she's
She is
good.
Australian. And I was like, I didn't notice that. She does a good American accent.
She does. She did very good.
Cal Penn is in this movie as well.
What a
I
get.
know.
That was a really good. That was, I'm sure, that and Soci is what they used to sell it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. We know him from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. He's always been on my radar because he's an out gay actor, so I've always paid attention to what he does. He
Mm,
plays Dr. Morgan Desai, the superior to Rose at the hospital she works at.
yeah.
And then we have Rob Morgan, plays Robert Talley. We neglected to mention when I did the synopsis that she finds, actually, Joel finds a break in the curse where there is a victim alive. And that's how we find out how you destroy the curse. And to destroy the curse, you have to kill somebody. And this guy's in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, that scene with him, we didn't mention it. That is a fantastic scene because when
Mm-hmm.
he finds out that she has the demon and she
Yeah.
came to him, he freaks out because
Yeah,
he thinks
get
he's gotten
out.
rid of it. Get it away from me.
Yeah.
I love the whole premise of this too. It's very It Follows, which is another key.
Boy, is it. But yes.
Gillian Zinser plays Holly, the sister who has the child that gets the dead cat for his birthday. And another person, Judy Reyes, is in this movie. She plays Victoria Munoz. I'm not sure if I'm saying that. She's the wife of a victim that Rose goes back to question to see if she can get any information on what happened. And she shows her husband's office or whatever it is, and all he has done is drawn pictures of smiles everywhere, and you can tell he was obsessed or whatever. He's the one that bludgeoned himself with a hammer. We don't get to see that. That's off camera. But anyway, Judy Reyes, the girl that played his wife, is from Scrubs, which was a big popular series that's currently come back. But she's also in a movie that I want to put on our list called Birth, Rebirth that I talked about in a genre week earlier this year. I told you it's a really good Frankenstein type story.
Nice.
And then lastly, just because I put Jack Sochet in there, he's the man on the bed that's in that picture behind me that's just smiling when she walks by. That's so creepy.
Yeah.
His name's Carl. He's one of her patients.
Yeah, she actually kills him.
She attempts to.
Yes.
It ends up being, I don't think she does, though. No, because if she does, it doesn't get rid of the curse. So no, he must not have died.
Oh.
She does stab him though. And then the doctors come in and
Yeah, the unique, like you said, the unique parts of the curse and the actual mythology and everything are really good. That nobody's lasted more than a week, I think. It's 7 to 8 days or something, usually only 4. And that's what her boyfriend, Joel, finds out when he does all this research. He can connect all of these strange suicides going back like 8 people.
ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Because she is currently engaged to marry Trevor. And then Joel comes back into the picture because Joel is the only one that believes her when she finally breaks down. And she's really mean to him in the first scene with him. She just basically blows him off and says, get the fuck out of here. And then all of a sudden she's coming to his door because she has nowhere else to turn.
Yeah. And that was
another good thing.
It was very realistic, good storytelling. It worked for me. Yeah. Overall. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. As far as awards, the Saturn nominated it for Best Horror Film, but it was also against Evil Dead Rise and Barbarian. And all 3 of those lost to Talk to Me. So really good year for horror movies.
Wow.
I like all 4 of those movies. It won an ASCAP. I thought you would find that interesting.
Really?
For sound. These movies have great sound.
They do have good sound. They have great cinematography. Much better in the second one than the first one, cinematography-wise. Yeah.
There's Scadsmore wins and noms across the board. It's not on the 1001 list, but nothing is after 2020 because it hasn't been updated in a very long time, in 6 years. I think this one warrants being on there. Maybe not the second one, but I do think this one warrants it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would go there. I don't think it's good. It's a good horror film. Of the ones that you just mentioned in those awards, I think the Evil Dead one would be on, but not the other 2. Yeah.
I think he's a really good director. His chops are amazing with all the upside down photography and everything going scant or sideways. And I don't know if you noticed that every time you hear a phone ring in this movie, something bad's about to happen.
Yeah, I actually have one of my watch notes is, so evidently the demon can use a phone. Because
It's
every
like
time a phone rings, it's not
ting-a-ling-a-ling,
good.
evil
It's
is
not good.
here.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you have any other trivia you want to hit before we move on?
No, just those little things. Like you said, the Scotch angles he's using, the drones he uses a lot to show
Hmm.
this very God angle looking down. The fact that and he carries it into the second movie,
Even more.
the transitions into this literally we're following something, a car on the road, and then we're going upside down. Or we're just cruising a drone toward the city and then suddenly we turn totally upside down.
Yeah, it's awesome camera work. It just blew me away. I've got that just for trivia, a couple of days before September 30th, the day of release, actors from the film started showing up at baseball games and sitting behind home plate dead still and smiling while they
Perfect.
stared into the camera. It
Good
looks like
marketing. Good
they
marketing.
were
Yeah.
wearing smile shirts when they did this. It also happened on the Today Show. They had some standing in the crowd during the Today Show out on the street.
Yeah. Nice.
Great marketing, really good marketing.
Yeah, that's good marketing. I would have to say, I would have to put then Blair Witch as a key because that was great marketing too and very ingenious
True.
at the time. Yeah.
I'll put that down. All
Yeah.
right, keys.
You, the two in mind that immediately come up are It Follows and Ringu or The Ring. That whole you find out you only have a week to live, there's a demon after you, no matter what you do, it's going to get you. And then the only way out of it is to do something horrible. So,
I know. And it follows, you essentially know who you're passing it to because you have sex
agreed.
with them, which is something awful, but you're not, I guess you could say you're killing them if they can't
Yeah.
pass it on.
You're
And
also
it,
rolling the gamble because if they don't pass it on and they die, it comes back to you.
yeah.
That was what made It Follow creepy to me. It was like a horrible STD sort of metaphor.
Yeah, it falls along the lines of curse films, so I would put Thinner
Yeah.
as well,
Thinner's a good one.
the Stephen
And
King movie.
I think it also, this whole movie seems to be a metaphor for trauma and being able to handle past trauma and it resurfacing again and again thing. Because, of course, the mere act of being infected is very traumatic. Because it's not just a suicide, it's a weird ass something suicide. I'm going to set myself on fire in front of you or beat my
Hammer. Yeah.
hammer, or cut my face off with a piece of glass. So it's
And they do show one that's a little less intense, but it's the film Joel shows her of the guy at the gas station. And he just kind of starts stabbing himself with what is it he
but
has?
but then again, stabbing yourself repeatedly is not a fun thing to watch. No, I
No.
wouldn't
And
think.
that little
Yeah.
old lady that was putting gas in her car has the curse now.
Yeah. Another one I have again, I think it's because of the curse and knowing you're cursed and then all the reality bending things. So I'm not sure. I end up not being sure what's real and what's not. I have It because
Okay.
it is like that as well. And I have Final Destination just because of the one murder after another. It's not sequential. This is a personal thing, but it's all that doomed feeling. I'm cursed, I guess, is what you said.
You mentioned Slender Man.
Yeah.
I've never seen that, so I'm not really familiar.
I don't think there may have been a movie, but I haven't seen a movie of it. It's mostly the website and the stories and the images and everything else.
I think it's a movie.
It might be. I haven't seen the movie,
No,
but
I
the
haven't either.
images of this really elongated demon that's very tall and very giant that then does stuff like open your mouth and climb in your face. That's very Slender Man-y.
I've got a movie I put down that I've never seen. I'm not sure where I got it. I must have got it off of IMDb, but it's called Truth or Dare.
Yeah, that's another one of those I'm going to my wedding, but his whole family is going to hunt me movies.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, Ready or Not, or yeah. I've got, of course, I had to have Hill House because of Bent Neck Lady. even though
Oh,
even though that's a jump scare moment that
well,
doesn't
and it's
matter, but
like twisted neck, hanging head lady.
yeah, twisted hanging head lady. Yeah.
But yeah, The Haunting of Hill House. Or no, it is called The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just a series. I've got films listed that Parker Finn said inspired him while making the movie. One of them was Rosemary's Baby.
Makes sense. Yeah. And Sosie is a great
Mia
person
Farrow,
like that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
very innocent. Todd Haynes' Safe movie with Julianne Moore. I have never seen this movie, but it has
I
been on
haven't
my
either.
list for a long time because a lot of people say watch this movie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anyway, it doesn't really say it. Oh, and then Kurosawa's The Cure or Cure, maybe not
I
The
haven't seen
Cure,
that
Cure,
either.
in 1997. He says it's a nightmarish atmosphere film that was going on
Interesting.
in his head when he was making this. But I think that's all
I
I have
have
as far as keys.
I have one that you will appreciate.
Sure.
Trilogy of Terror. Because at the very end of that, I have always been frightened since I was a kid of Black kneeling down with that knife and just smiling at the camera. And it's always terrified me. And so that's another smile fear.
I have another one too. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it, it's a makeup one, and that design, that creature design behind me with all the multiple mouths and teeth,
Yeah.
remind me of the female vampire in Fright Night with the
Oh,
big
yeah. With the,
mouth.
she
Yeah.
turns around.
She
and has
turns
the,
around and her mouth is enormous with all the teeth in it. And also, I was trying
Dick
to think of
Smith
another
did that,
movie.
right? Dick Smith? Rick Baker. Rick Baker did that. Yeah.
I don't know who did the effects for that film.
Yeah.
That was a
one of
Tom
those two
Holland
did.
film.
One of those two did. Either Rick Baker or Dick Smith did Fright Night.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. I was trying to think of other movies with the weird mouth makeup like that, and for some reason, all I can think of is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and that's not really a good one.
No, not really. Alien, the alien itself has a mouth in a mouth.
Yeah, it does have a mouth in a mouth. Oh, it's not that important. It's a makeup thing anyway. We can move on to the second film unless you have something else to say.
No, move to second one.
Okay. I'm going to again read a synopsis real quick so we can keep things moving. This one follows global pop sensation Sky Riley as she prepares for a massive comeback tour after struggling with addiction because of a tragic car accident. She was addicted to pain pills, Vicodin in particular. While seeking pain medication, she witnesses her drug dealer brutally kill himself, becoming the next target of this sinister, shape-shifting smile entity. The curse causes Sky to experience increasingly terrifying hallucinations and hallucination of smiling people. I don't know why I said that twice. Blurring the line between reality and madness as her mental health deteriorates under the pressure of fame. As she tries to break the chain of demonic infection, the horror escalates, focusing on the dark, exploitive side of the music industry. The film is noted, oh, I don't need to even say that. At the very end, I will say this. Sky is now fully possessed and ultimately stabs herself to death on stage with a microphone in front of thousands of people, passing the curse to the entire audience of her sold out concert. I can't wait to see how they come into the third movie after that. Because that's a lot of people infected with the thing. Maybe it'll be apocalyptic.
Sure.
I liked this movie when I first saw it. This is the second time I saw it. And I think the reason I liked it the first time is what you said. The direction is beautiful in this film. It is really well shot.
Yeah, the biggest thing about it that should be noted is it has a lot of what they call oneers, which are single shots that go on for minutes and minutes, and they're tracking multiple locations, everything else. The opening alone is majestically well done. we just see Joel. So and it even says, I think, something like 6 days later or 5 days, something like that.
It's 6 days
Um,
later. Yeah.
and we see Joel sitting in a car, and he is obviously doing a stakeout or
Stakeout.
something like that. But through various means, he ends up going up, getting a guy out of his car when he pulls up, putting him inside, killing two people, going from room to room, being chased, finally getting out a window, running down the street and being hit by a car. And then the camera pulls back, and his bloody body smear is the smile for Smile 2. It was so well done. I was going, this is going to be a great movie.
I was going to say that scene, the very opening of this movie, the first 5 minutes, is one of the best things in it. It absolutely blows me away every time I watch it.
Yep.
And
Phenomenally done.
It's not a single shot. It was done with some trickery. He's talked about that. But
Yeah,
what's
but for only
going
two of
on
those.
is
He basically did it in a triple with and then a handoff to the drone or the crane. But yeah.
but what we didn't say is that Joel is trying to kill the drug dealer's brother in front of him to pass the curse to him, but the
Right.
drug dealer shoots him, and he accidentally shoots him fatally. So all of a sudden he's killed the one he's trying to pass the curse to, and it didn't work. So his whole scenario of let's pass it to a bad guy, which is a great scenario,
Yep.
doesn't work. And then he ends up having to run because people come back to the house, bad guys, and they're chasing him, and he runs right in front of a car, and it is great. You are not expecting this.
No. And that is, so 2 points really quick. One, so that to me was the first plot hole or problem I have in this movie, is because the curse then is passed on to a third dealer who's actually sitting in the back of the room watching this happen.
He witnesses it. Yeah.
But he does not witness Joel's death. And Joel has the demon. The drug dealers don't have a demon. Joel has the demon. So he should have been outside and somehow seen Joel die this way to be cursed and then pass it on to Sky.
See, I think Joel passed the demon before he got outside the house.
I don't see how, because he didn't die. You have to die to pass the demon on. You have to commit suicide.
No, you can murder somebody.
But you can murder somebody, then you don't have but you have to be witnessed. Oh, okay. So you're saying
he
both
killed
those drug dealers.
He killed both of them by accident. He was trying to pass it to one of them, and he didn't know there was a third person there to witness it.
And the third person would then get affected. Okay,
And
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's when we get further into the movie that you basically, when Sky leaves the drug dealer's apartment, when he smashes his face with the weight, which is another good scene, by the way.
Yes, very good day.
Anything after that to me is up in the air. You don't know what's real and you don't know what's not after she leaves that apartment. It's pretty much a what the fuck? This is great, but I have no idea what's going on.
And I think Parker Finn has, just like we were talking about the actor playing Joel, and the fact that he probably has a really good career ahead of him. I think Parker Finn does too, as long as he can get away from jump scares. Because there's a lot of jump scares in both of these movies, as opposed to tension moments. He does tension moments really well, and the few that he has are really good. But I don't have to, I am much more scared of Sky and her best friend sleeping at night, and we watch Sky, and she slowly turns over and sees her friend laying there beside her asleep, facing her. I'm more tense there than I am with suddenly her friend opening her eyes and smiling.
Yeah, agreed. The slow burn scares are better scares than a jump scare. Yeah.
And like the whole sequence, since we're talking scenes, so to speak, good and bad, the whole sequence where she thinks a homeless fan has gotten into her room and stripped down.
Yeah, his shitty drawers are on the floor.
Is scary until we do the whole from the nun run at you thing.
Yeah, it sure is. It's very nunish or very Conjuring-ish. Yeah,
Conjuring-ish.
Yeah.
Same thing with she turns on the closet light and all of her dance team is there and they're slowly advancing on her. And it keeps doing jump scares so much rather than suddenly her turning and they're in a different position and she turns away and comes over here and she turns back and they're in a different position. That would have been a lot scarier because it's still a oneer. It's just that he keeps cutting really fast and they're in this weird Fosse-esque weirdness, twisted bodies.
I do have to say, I love that stuff with the dancers, though. It's great.
It's good for an hallucination, but like you said, you were so disoriented as a viewer by then.
You don't know what's
You're
real
not
and what's
sure
not. Yeah.
what's what.
Yeah. I totally agree. Same with The Signing. You mentioned the deranged fan that she worries got into her apartment, that she saw him first at a signing, but then you've got the little girl that comes up to her at the signing as well that just doesn't say anything and is just, smiling. And she signs her shirt and the girl just doesn't even move. She looks like Willow from Buffy.
Yeah.
Like a younger version.
And her mom in this becomes the cat. That's the pivot point where she really loses it because she can't tell if she killed her mom or if her mom killed herself.
Or if she's dead at all. I had no grasp myself whether it really happened or not.
Yeah, that's the point, is he escalated it so high in this one that we start doubting
everything we see.
I finally get rescued by my friend and suddenly that's not my friend. My friend then texts me. And it's really the demon in my car, which isn't in your car. You're imagining it if that's not her.
Yeah, I like it when she says, I'm leaving or whatever. And she says, I'm taking you. And she says, no, you're not. She says, yes, I am because you don't drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think crazy too.
I also, my issues with the movie are still, I don't think this lead is as strong as Sosie Bacon. I don't think the rest of the cast is as strong as the first movie. And I think he really loses it later on with trying to say, like you said in the description, it talks about the exploitativeness of the music industry. I don't think it does. I think it should, but it doesn't. Yeah, she was addicted, and yeah, her mother is her stage mom.
What I was referring to, or what that synopsis was referring to, I'm sure, is the workaholic stuff with the mother and the daughter, and the mother treating the daughter as a commodity or a product. I think that's the commentary they were referring to.
And I could see that, and
a little bit
the lack of knowing who you're going where, when, next, and what teleprompter to read, whatever, because you just follow along because of your schedule. The addiction, of course, is there, not only to Vicodin, but to cocaine and everything else, resulting in the car crash. Another well-done scene, because that's one shot too, going back and forth between the two of them. And basically she screams for most of it, which is another thing too. I got really tired of the freak out screaming. We didn't see that a lot in the first one.
No, so she was scared, but she wasn't screaming.
Yeah, and trying to compose herself and trying to fit in when she was seeing something that other people weren't seeing.
Oh, and another thing I neglected to mention when we were talking about the first one, I mentioned the birthday party. When she is like trying to deny it and everybody is looking at her and she gets stunned and disoriented and she falls and goes through that glass table, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great stunt. And she's all bloody because she got her hands cut up or her arms cut up. Anyway, back to this movie.
You
mentioned, before I go to cast, or we can do more scenes if you want, but before I go to cast, I wanted to mention, you were talking about Parker Film is definitely going to be a successful director, and I agree. He is currently filming the third in this trilogy. However, he is working on a remake of a movie I don't think I've ever seen. Have you ever seen 1981's psychological horror film, The Possession?
No.
Okay. Nope. That's on his slate, a remake of that movie. And I love it when they'll take obscure items and remake them, because those are the things that usually need remaking, as opposed to Harry Potter.
Okay.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Would you like me to go on to cast, or did you want to
Sure.
talk about another scene in this movie? I think we've
No, I
talked
mean,
about a good bit of scenes in this movie. We've talked about the
yeah.
dancers, the autograph signing, the drug dealing scene, the opening, and the end. The end where she actually kills herself in front of the entire audience.
Yeah, which we don't see, which I thought was an interesting choice, I
Well,
must
she
admit.
shoves the microphone in her throat.
But we don't see that. We see the audience reaction in a very lengthy shot, and then we pan around, and she's laying on the floor with it in her eye, I think. Not
Oh,
her
it's in
throat,
her
it's in
eye.
her
You're
eye.
right. It is in her eye.
So there's that.
Yeah, it's strange. Sky was played by Naomi Scott. First, before we go into cast, I'm going to disagree with you. I think the cast in this is fine. I don't have a problem with the cast at all. It's the script that's a problem because you really don't know what's real and what's not. I liked Naomi. I thought she was fine. She did scream a lot, but that's not her. That was the director telling her to do it. She starred in the
Correct.
live version of Aladdin. She played Jasmine. So she's got singing chops. They actually wrote songs for this movie and recorded videos for this movie, which I really kind of, it's what they're doing with the Vampire Lestat that's coming out later this summer.
Yeah.
She was a kid star. She was in Power Rangers. She was in that reboot of Charlie's Angels, which I never saw. All pretty high profile movies, though. She's of Indian and English descent, so she's British. I didn't realize because she does a pretty good accent. Did you?
Hmm. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Her mother, Elizabeth Riley, is played by Rosemary DeWitt. Now she's a very familiar face. She reminds me a little bit of Jo Beth Williams.
Yep, I can see that.
Yeah. She was in Rachel Getting Married, La La Land. She's Huey's mother on The Boys. We were talking about The Boys earlier
Oh, yeah.
as far as A Train. So we've got two connections to The Boys in both these films. She is divorced from Chris Messina, who we saw in a film earlier this year, the one with Adriana DeBose. What was that movie? It was your movie.
It was my movie?
Yeah, the one about the Russians and the Americans in the
Oh, ISS?
ISS. Yeah. So we last saw Chris Messina in ISS. She is divorced from him, but now married to Ron Livingston. So she likes to marry fellow actors.
There you go. Keep
Ron
in the
Livingston
business.
was Office Space. Lucas Gage plays Lewis, the drug addict that Joel passes the curse to. He is apparently a big actor from the first season of The White Lotus, as well as that show Euphoria that you have mentioned with Zendaya.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Joshua, her like PA, I guess you would say, her
Yeah. Personal assistant. Yep.
his name is Miles Gutierrez Riley. I watched him and Agatha All Along, and he was great in that. And I don't know,
okay.
you haven't seen that yet, but that's a really good Marvel show. So I liked him. Peter Jacobson played Morris. He's the one that's trying to get her to do the event. That's another good scene we didn't talk about, where she flips that lady off the stage and into the table.
Oh, where the teleprompter stops.
The one where
Yeah.
she sees her dead boyfriend stand up at the table and start clapping and smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he's the one that gets her to do that. And speaking of her dead boyfriend, that's Ray Nicholson, Jack Nicholson's son.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, you didn't recognize him? He looked
Nope.
just like Jack Nicholson. And they
Yeah.
put him in a white coat to even make you see that.
There you go.
Yeah, he has one fantastic scene, and it's the scene you were talking about with them in the car before the wreck, where they're arguing and they're both all coked up and fucked up. I did not know anything about Ray Nicholson, and then when I saw him and said, "Oh my God, he looks like his dad," I saw that he was in that movie Licorice Pizza that was it was up for Oscars a few years back.
Oh, okay.
So he's apparently out there. We just haven't seen him. He's also in a movie called Novocaine, and he plays Paul Hudson.
Okay.
Gemma played by Dylan Galula, if I'm saying that. Her best known role is for playing Xanthippe, if I'm saying that, on The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. But she has a really familiar face. She reminds me of Carrie Fisher's daughter. You know who I'm talking
And
about?
she's really good too. I love her inflections. I like the way she played Gemma's character of this estranged friend of a person who was spiraling with addiction. And how good a friend are you? And it turns out not a very good one, if it's true that was the demon the whole time, which is another thing that's really weird to me. Because Gemma shows up after she calls her. She shows up, she spends the night with her. She helps her the next morning. She even talks to her mom the next morning. There's one other scene with her. Then she shows up to rescue her. And then as they're driving, she gets a text from Gemma who's responding to her first text from 2 days ago. And so none of that the entire time was Gemma, that was the demon. And that's just, what? I started going, what? Seriously? I would much prefer I look around and I see the jump scare and, that's a demon, I know it, rather than this constant wake up from a nightmare to another nightmare, so nothing's real, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I think the reason why it bothers us is that the logic's not there, and we want the logic of the film or it falls apart. And I think you can be a showy Ken Russell director if you want, but if it doesn't make sense, it's not really going anywhere with us.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Back to cast, though, the girl Dylan Jalula reminds me a lot of Billy Lord, and Billy Lord is Carrie Fisher's daughter that we see in everything now. She was in, oh my gosh, she's done a lot of the American Horror Stories, things like that, but she's better than that, though. Raul Castillo played Task. He was, I want to say, the husband of one of her friends or boyfriend. Kyle Gallner is in this movie again. Great. He's only got the cameo at the beginning where he gets killed, but he's awesome. And then lastly, you mentioned very briefly, Drew Barrymore is in this movie.
Yeah.
And I read that he put her in it and put Sky on Drew's show to bring some reality to her being a pop star at the very beginning so that the audience would buy into it immediately. That's one of the reasons why he did that. And I thought it was a good choice. And I love seeing Drew do a cameo. It's funny because it's not her first horror movie she's done a cameo in. So
true.
As far as awards, this was nominated for 4 Saturns, Best Horror Film, Music, Actress, and Makeup. It won an ASCAP again for sound and a lot of other smaller things, not as many as the first film. And of course, it's not on the 1001 list either. Any trivia? I don't really have any.
No, other than just his visual style in this. I couldn't count how many oneers there were just because I lost track. There's a lot of tracking shots in this. One that I can tell you is she leaves her dressing room with her probably dead mother in there, goes all the way out, gets the gun, goes through the lobby, goes outside, walks on the street.
Crazy.
Cuts her foot, stays on the street, gets in a car, and the car drives off.
Gnarly cut, too.
Yeah, and the car drives off, and all that is one shot. So the way he has his visual style in this of doing that was really cool. I just thought that if I'd cared more about the protagonist, it might have worked, and or if a lot of that hadn't have been her screaming at other people. So there's a lot of that.
By the time we get to that point in the movie, the first time around, I don't know if I was just mesmerized by the cinematography. The second time around, I was over it. I was like, oh, this is too much. There's too much shit going on. This is not believable at all. One of the subplots that we neglected to mention is the guy that's going to, actually, that may be the guy I was thinking of. Actually, that's who I'm thinking of. Peter Jacobson played Morris. He's the one that comes to her and says, I want to help you get rid of it. It killed my brother.
Yes.
That to me is
He's the one.
totally unbelievable.
Agreed.
And that's where she ends up taking the car to, and it ends up being an old abandoned Pizza Hut where they're going to stop her heart for so many seconds until the demon leaves and then bring her back. That's
Yeah.
their
And that didn't
supposed
work
cure.
for me at all. That whole ending did not
No,
work at all for me.
no.
I understand he's still dealing with trauma, guilt, blah, 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 but we needed more of that. We needed to tap into the sympathetic side of Sky and the fact that she felt so guilty because she thought she had killed her boyfriend. Essentially, she's still blaming herself for killing her boyfriend through her lifestyle, through their drug use, and by grabbing the wheel when they're having an argument and they're driving down the road. But I don't have any sympathy for Sky, so I don't really care what happens to her at the end, trapped in a weird Pizza Hut. So
I think I could have sympathy for her. I just don't know who the real her is after she leaves her drug dealer's apartment. Because to me, after she leaves, and that's the very beginning of the film, it's like the second or third scene after Joel dies.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you just don't know what's real anymore. It's just a roller coaster ride.
And he even throws stuff out like her being thirsty and constantly being thirsty and want to drink.
Drinking
And I even
water.
have 3 times in my watch notes, what is with her being so thirsty? I hope they answer this, and they never do.
No, they have the gag where her mother or somebody says she's dehydrated.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
No, she's not. She's drinking water. Are the demons thirsty? I don't know.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. We can get into keys because I think the keys to this movie are a lot different than the keys to the first movie. And I think that's why we like the first movie better. And I'll start off with one of the keys one of the keys to this movie is obviously Smile, the original movie. And one of the keys to Smile is It Follows. To me, the reason Smile and It Follows works is they're both small films with small cast and very streamlined plots, no convolution whatsoever. This movie is the exact opposite. It's got everybody in the world in it, and there's just a million things going on at the same time. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I agree. I have a American Werewolf, seeing your dead boyfriend or your dead friend and everything else.
This year.
Yep, which happens a lot. I've got, this is a twisted, weird version of Beyond the Music, that series that used to be on in the 80s, I think, it was always the same motif or the same structure of it, of here's a rising band, they achieve stardom, they all get on drugs and women and everything
And
else,
everyone
and then
dies.
downfall.
Or there's a plane crash or something.
It's all the horror of the addiction story of the music industry.
I have A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
God, yes.
Because of the guy trying to cure her. It's, I can control my dreams. I'm a superhero in my dreams or whatever. And we can get rid of it if we stop your heart for so many minutes.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. And Nightmare has bigger and crazier special effects when it was a much better film as a small movie with few people in it. But
I have another ploy he does in this, in addition to all the jump scares, is like with the dancer scene. And this is like a double key I just thought of. She looks there and sees them. She looks away. She turns back. They're closer. She looks away. She turns back. They're closer. So the 2 keys for that are that freaking cat video that circulated a few years ago where the cat was creepy. The camera kept going around the corner, and every time it went around the corner, the cat was closer.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was a big deal. It was a big thing. This is even before TikTok. I think it was on Vine or something. Anyway, but my other one, which is the same thing, is the weeping angels from Doctor Who. Because they're these very scary aliens that if you don't break eye contact with them, they're paralyzed. But if you blink or you look away, they get closer to you. And when they get close enough, they can kill you. And it's a scary. See, I think they've been in 3 episodes of Doctor Who.
And that you're equating them to the dancers?
Yeah, too. And it's not just the dancers. I think she does it with the little girl in the autograph too, because she sees her first and she's way over there in the back of the line
And then
and
she's
she
up
looks
front.
down
Yeah.
to, and then suddenly she's closer and then she looks down and she's right in front of the table. It's that creeping menace.
I have a different key for the same thing, the dancers, and it's Poltergeist. When Jo Beth Williams walks in front of the table, goes to the cabinet, and then turns around, and all the chairs are stacked up in a big, crazy looking sculpture. And it reminded me of when she turns around and the dancers are like they are behind me in that weird pose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a camera trick where it's one shot and it's choreographed where everybody gets in place at the right time or whatever. Except
And I
in
don't think
Poltergeist, it's a sculpture. I'm sure they just pushed it in.
Yeah. Put it in place.
Yeah.
Quick, hurry. Yeah. And I don't think it's an influence so much as it might have been an inspiration, but like you were saying, that gnarly cut, as soon as she pulls up her foot in the car because her friend is driving, Megan or whomever is driving, and she starts to pull the glass out and everything else, it was Die Hard and Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Except
know.
her foot looked so much worse. It looked like
Oh,
it was
God.
all swollen and broken. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell that they just delighted in making you squirm with that.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning. This movie reminds me a lot of another movie that has an incredible first 5 minutes, and then the movie is not as good. And it's 28 Weeks Later.
Oh.
The
Haven't
opening of 28 Weeks Later with Robert Carlyle in that little cottage with his family. And remember how fast all that moves? And all of a
Yes.
sudden he's on his own and in the boat, and he ends up having to knock his friend off the boat in order to get away or whatever. Anyway, scene reminds me of the Joel scene in this. And then the rest of the movie's just not as good.
I would agree. I've got it even in my notes. The last third of this is really slow. And especially with all the Pizza Hut refrigerator and all that stuff. The last two I've got, one is Black Swan, because I think Black Swan is a good variation of somebody who's losing control of reality, but it makes sense. The hallucinations obviously are hallucinations, and we can tell until the very end when she essentially kills herself. Again, suicide. But
It's all about a celebrity. She's a dancer, not a singer.
ballerina.
But yeah, I see that.
And my last one is, ironically, won an Oscar, which is that K-pop Demon Hunter thing. The whole thing about you're infecting the entire audience during your performance. Because that's what happens. In K-pop, of course, the girls come and rescue everybody and release the demons
They're
and send
dream
them back to
warriors.
hell. Yeah. But I did not buy that ending either. I really did not buy that whole I'm infecting because the premise in the first one was she was isolated and she then literally saw the demon and the demon crawled inside her and then she kills herself. And we are setting up the fact that happens to everybody by the end of because we remember back to the first scene with her and her patient or the girl that came in and she suddenly freaks and sees something over the doctor's shoulder and backs up and everything's going, no, that's when the demon's crawling inside her. And then she cuts her face off. So that's the assumption. And then with Sky, you actually see the great big hands come down and grab her mouth and pull it apart and everything else. And I'm going, all that is happening right on stage in front of them. I guess it could because we'll see it in the other two. But seems like a technician would have run out there to see if she was okay.
If she was okay, she's on the floor.
This is a live performance and she's lying down.
And all of a sudden her mother and the PA and Gemma or somebody are out in the audience. And I'm like, I thought her mother was dead.
Yeah. And they're in the wings and everything. I was going, what? I thought, what? Huh? Okay. Yeah.
I have one last one that I caught from IMDb that you may recognize. The room where Sky prepares herself for a shoot was inspired by the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks. It's hard to notice at first, but because it uses more neutral palette, but there's a shot of her alone in the room looking in the mirror, and you can see a monochromatic zigzag pattern on the floor and the curtains.
And the curtains all the way around. Yep.
So that was an homage to David Lynch, I guess.
Reality is bent and twisted. That's what Tim and I think of Smile and Smile 2. One good, one eh. We go back and forth on did we like the performances or not, yada, but
where's he going with, we didn't talk about, where's he going with part 3?
I don't know unless he treats it like 28 weeks later and it's suddenly a Smile apocalypse.
What would be fun? Honestly, what would be fun is if he backtracked and went into a small movie again. Went small, big, small. But the thing is, the way he ended Smile 2, it has to get bigger because it looks like thousands of people have it.
But not necessarily. Like I said, he could do both of those ideas we just talked about. It could be a small story of somebody in isolation and everybody else is infected. They can't look at anybody else because they've all got it in them and they've got to stay alone and isolated or in a small group of 3 of them or whatever because everybody's infected with the demon. Or how does the demon live? Because I think in this one, the weird mousy looking guy who wants to take her to the Pizza Hut says it feeds on trauma. It feeds on your fear and your trauma. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's showing you these hallucinations.
It's definitely trying to terrify you.
To keep you terrified because that's what strengthens it. So if it infects 10,000 people and they can't infect other people, would it die inside them? Or is there only one demon or is there 10,000?
Well, if you remember right, Rose tried that theory. She decided she would go to the cabin and just be alone. That way it couldn't do anything, but it still fucked with her.
That's when it came.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it realized there was nobody else around. So I don't know. I don't know what, but I do respect Parker Finn. I wish him the best of luck. I hope this third one is good and great or whatever.
As good as the first. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. That's what Tim and I think. You guys tell us what you think. Did you like Smile? Did you like Smile 2? Are we on the mark? Are we off the mark? Whatever. Let us know. Don't smile. See, smiles are creepy anyway. And don't.
I can't like an evil one.
Yeah. But this, as Tim said, this is our penultimate. We have one more episode in this season, and then we'll take a little hiatus, and we'll come back with a brand new season, brand new stuff, and everything else. If you want to know all about that, you can join our Patreon and get advance notice of what the season is, the release dates, what movies we're covering, when and where, and all of that. And you would be supporting us, which we would dearly love. We also have some free material over on Patreon. We also have some other podcasts that we do, one on Star Trek and one on X-Files. So they're really good and we'd appreciate that. And Tim, until next week, we go back to, yay, we're ending the season in space. And not really, but fantasy. Yeah.
It's a good science fiction movie.
It is. It is.
We'll just put it that way. It's really good, actually.
It is a blockbuster. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I guess we'll see you then.
I'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Start the car. Johnny has